How to love unconditionally. It's hard to say what love is. Poets, psychologists, and regular people have all tried over and over again to explain what love is and what it means beyond you know it when you feel it. This has led to a lot of different ideas. Even more confusing is the idea of unconditional love, which some people say is the only real kind of love and others say is impossible. To believe in unconditional love and to love without conditions, you have to think, act, and have a lot of faith. You are the only one who can decide if and how you can, or should, love without conditions. The video below may help you on that path. What does unconditional love mean? Think about the different kinds of love there are. The ancient Greeks did this, and how to define love lists 4 different ways they did it. Out of the 4, agape is the closest to unconditional love. Agape love is a choice, a decision to love no matter what happens or how bad things are. So, loving someone unconditionally means loving them for who they are, no matter what they do or don't do. People who have children seem to understand this idea the best. It can also be taught and used. You have to decide to love without conditions. Parents might say that they couldn't help but love their children as soon as they saw them, but that initial rush of love is replaced, perhaps unnoticeably, by a decision to love the child no matter what. Realize that unconditional love is not the same as love blinding you. When someone has just fallen in love with someone, they are often in this state where they don't see the other person for who they really are, flaws and all. This kind of love is temporary, or at least it should be. If the love is to last, it needs to be replaced with a longer term, eyes wide open kind of love. To love someone without conditions, you have to know what those conditions are, both the good and the bad ones. Unconditional love is not being blinded by love, it is the decision that nothing is more important than love. Think about whether love between two people can be unconditional. Some people say no, because romantic love must be based on feelings, actions, and expectations to work as a partnership. From this point of view, you can never love your spouse as much as you love your child. But love and a relationship are not the same thing. Relationships are working partnerships that have to work. An unconditional relationship makes it easy for one person to control the other. So, a relationship can end because the two people don't work well together, but the love for the other person can still be there. Sometimes, the way to love without conditions is to end the relationship. Think of unconditional love as something you do instead of something you feel. Most of the time, we think of love as a feeling, but feelings are how we react to what we get from someone or something. So, feelings depend on certain things. Unconditional love is the decision to work for the good of someone else. Your reward, or what you get from your own action, is the way you feel when you act out of love. To love without conditions is to act with love no matter what. If you have to do something or be a certain way to get love, that love is conditional. If someone gives you something for no reason, it is unconditional. Giving unconditional love. Love yourself no matter what. Love that doesn't have any rules starts at home, with oneself. You know your own flaws and weaknesses better than anyone else, and you can never know anyone else's flaws and weaknesses as well as you know your own. Being able to love yourself despite knowing all of your flaws makes you more likely to be able to do the same for other people. Before you can accept and forgive someone else's flaws, you have to be able to see, accept, and forgive your own. If you don't think you deserve to be loved without conditions, you'll never really be able to think you deserve to give it. Choose something kind. Always ask yourself, what is the most loving thing I can do for this person right now? Love isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. An act of love toward one person could be harmful to another person because it doesn't help them become a truly happy person. Unconditional love isn't a hard and fast rule you can apply to everyone all the time. Instead, it's a choice you have to make every time. For example, if you have two friends who are both grieving the loss of a loved one, the loving thing to do for one may be to let them cry on your shoulder and talk for a long time, while the loving thing to do for the other may be to give them some space and silence. If you don't know how to help someone the best way, you can ask them, "How can I help you right now?" Forgive people you care about. Even if someone doesn't say sorry, it's still loving to let go of your anger and resentment toward them, even if they don't. Remember Piero Ferrucci's advice that forgiving is not something we do, but something we are. Hate the sin, love the sinner is a common religious saying. Loving someone without conditions doesn't mean you have to like everything they do or choose. It means you don't let those things stop you from wanting the best for that person in everything. If someone you care about says something hurtful out of anger, the loving thing to do is to let them know how it made you feel, but also to forgive them for their mistake. Help them grow and know they are loved at the same time. But don't think that being willing to forgive means you have to let people take advantage of you. Leaving a place where you are mistreated or taken advantage of over and over can be a loving thing to do for both yourself and the other person. Don't think that you can keep someone you care about from all pain and trouble. Part of loving someone is helping them grow as a person. And in this life, growth is impossible without pain and discomfort. Unconditional love means doing what you can to make the other person happy and comfortable, but also helping them grow through the inevitable times of discomfort. Don't lie to protect someone you care about's feelings. Instead, help them deal with their feelings when they're hurting. For instance, telling a lie about a bad financial situation to avoid hurting someone's feelings is likely to cause more hurt and distrust in the long run. Instead, be open, helpful, and willing to work together to find answers. Care less and love more. Wait, isn't love all about caring? Yes, you want to care for someone by trying to make sure they are healthy and happy. You don't want to care in the way that your love depends on certain things happening, which is what it means to be conditional. So, don't say I don't care what you decide because your happiness doesn't matter to me. Instead, say I don't care what you decide because I love you no matter what you do. You don't love because someone does something that makes you happy. You love because it makes you happy. Accept yourself and the people you love as they are. You are not perfect, but you are still able to show love. They are also not perfect, but they also deserve to be shown love. Acceptance is the key to unconditional love. You can't expect other people to make you happy with their choices and how they live. You can only control yourself, not other people. Even if your brother is known for making bad decisions, that shouldn't change how much you love him. Don't love someone because of how they live, but just because they do.